baby, I tell you, a little crackle-fried southern rock there, Louisiana style from Dire Straits, man, the Walk of Life. I tell you what, reminds me of this little old blue banjo band I knew way back when, little tiny burg of Louisville, Colorado, back in the way back before it was a great big sprawling metropolis like it is now. This was when it was still a little tiny town, and there's one or two little bars there, and these guys called, what was it? I can't even, Cider Fries, that's the band. Gosh, after all these years, I still remember that, baby. Well, they were unforgettable, I'm telling you. They were like Dire Straits. Plus. You know, they just weren't highly recorded and highly promoted and had the symphonic harmony of hypnosis built into them by the darker edges of the music industry and shit like that. You know, you play them backwards, you hear, Satan lives you, Satan loves you, Satan gives you everything, you know, or some shit like that, you know. Guess what, you know, when you're living in the multi-dimensional presence, you already know that presence, you've already made friends with it, and you've taken it for a little journey. And it's just like I did a while back when I was out there tripping around beyond the 3D, man. Me and old Stan went for a little journey back to the promised land. He had never seen that before, not since a long time ago. He forgot that it was, man, let alone that it was home. And oh my goodness, there were dewdrops, I won't call them tears, dewdrops in his ancient old eyes as he got the big surprise to remember how it is to go home. You know, even if you couldn't stay, even if you were just visiting for a moment, you know, it's a sweet moment, baby. You know, especially when you fly together with the brother you don't like at all, man. You know what I mean? That's the way he feels about me. He just thinks I'm the, you know, lowest little scum on the end of his toenail toe, you know. But guess what? That little fragment causing that dude a little change, a little rearrange, a little something new coming through, baby. It's the end of the polarity inside of me, inside of you, and never was in my little doggy, you know, except for what we projected into him as human presences, as confused as we were in our sociopathic ways. Oh, I don't want to see anybody beg and plead for their life. I just want to see the foolishness come to an end. The reality is just around the bend. Hell no, it's right here, man. Shit. Give it a program. What do you think Dire Straits is southern frying you for? Getting you ready for, you know, the bounce that's right here, right now. See, the bounce that takes you out of this stupid ass reality of 3D. It brings you a little beyond it, don't you see? So you can live here a little more naturally and, you know, bring in all the cousins, uncles, and aunts and all the good energies in life that, you know, we seem to be sadly lacking in. You know what I mean? Compassion, love, carefree attitudes, things like that, you know, HIPPIE, man. Well, what does that mean? You know, well, hippie, baby, in case you can't understand English. I know it's a little hard sometimes, especially when it comes from a drawl and old mouth like mine, eh? Hippie, happy, intelligent people pursuing infinite enlightenment. Mint, more mint. Darling, it's an expansive thing. You just grow with it. You just glow with it. It's Spring Creek, don't you know? Your moment of truth, where it all begins, you know, where the flows of water come into being, where life becomes what it is already, you know, and we all go steady with the flow of life. We don't buck against it anymore, and it don't buck against us, see? It's a way of evening out ourselves in the harmonizational life that we are as vibrational harmonies in the river of life, in our little molecular frequency and structure and shit like that, you know. We get scientific here every now and then, so we have to, you know, make it a little colorful so us common folk can understand, you know, and take our own journey to the promised land. Take a look at what's there. And I'm not talking about that silly little coastal place over there in the Middle East everybody's fighting over. Man, whoever promised that to somebody ought to give it back and take the promise back. Look, I'm sorry, man. Nobody can survive that. Sorry, guy. We're just kidding around with you. Of course, it's a beautiful place, but it's dry as a bone. You know, if it wasn't for desalinization, you wouldn't have nothing, guys. Oh, baby, we're on a satiric roll on a Free Day Friday, don't you know? Here on that Everclear Hazy Radio Network, reminding you that rock is the roll. And rock is the roll in the medicine and harmony of your heart and soul, reflecting back to you in a weaker way so you can gently wake yourself up, wouldn't you say? So you get the little rock, you get the little roll, you start to move in your chair, and pretty soon you're up boogie-wooging your ass off and didn't even know you were in the flow, and there you are, you know, just becoming the very center of your entire existence, man. And feeling every bit of it, too, you know, spreading your wealth, your happiness, your joyous love into everything that surrounds you, baby. Even those barren walls upon which no colorful artwork of descriptible perception exists, right? Well, no, you got a little picture of a waterfall there, don't you? Just remind you of home, man, the headwaters, Spring Creek, baby. Hoo-wee. Did you see that latest banner I posted up there? That, ooh, it's a beautiful shot somebody took of a little waterfall out in the Red Rock Desert there in southern Utah somewhere, man. Utah. Oh, my goodness, what a place. But what a gorgeous and spectacular place that is, man. Go skinny dipping in the muddy waters, and you have to drive 300 miles to wash off the mud. No way, you just let it dry off in the sun and shake yourself a little bit, and it's all done, and you're cool, see? The old man knows how to do it. I've been swimming in a desert pool before. How about you, you know? You ever feel that free? You just rip it all off and jump in quite naturally. Don't worry about who's looking or nothing. You got a shotgun back there on the shore. You'll be all right. No, I'm kidding. Of course. No, I just felt that free, felt that, you know, alone quite naturally, or in the company of pleasant people that wouldn't harass you in the wrong sort of way so you could get away with it. You know, it's awesome, man. Shit. It's better if you got a little clear water, but muddy water can be such a blessing. You know, because they have flash flood kind of mud, you know. It's just got that clear bankage of the universe, that red in it, man, that, you know, ooh, baby, that's a little pigmentation to your skin in the long run, even after it dries off and shakes off, you know. But, oh, my goodness, it's just, I don't know, something really primal. It's like putting your roots down, being a flower and putting your roots down, because that water is just so filled with the energy of life, you know. It might be a little angry and boiling, so you want to find a calm place there like at the bottom of the waterfall, man, where you got a little pool to play in, you know. You don't want to be out there in the rip-roaring flash flood. That'd kill you, man. Don't be stupid, okay? Be wise. Follow the flow of your heart, don't you know? And take a little harassment from Grandpa every now and then, because what do I exist for other than to, you know, goad you a little bit, you know? Goad you along with a few tall tales, a few short tales, a few little medicine sayings, you know, little medicinal coyote medicine. Never hurt anybody now, did it? Well, some people would disagree with that. They think coyotes are evil. But I think those are the same people that are afraid to swim in a pool in the desert, too, don't you? See? Oh, we just disqualified them all, didn't we, man? Now it's us versus them again. Yeehaw! Nah, we're free of that, babies. And we bless them with the experience of swimming in a beautiful little desert stream sometime at the bottom end of a beautiful waterfall like that one depicted in that little Spring Creek banner I posted up over there on our Facebook pages the other day. You know, it touches my heart, brings back glorious memories of childhood and shit like that, when you could be that free and nobody had to worry about anything dirty. Oh, geez, I tell you. And the son of a gun that started that, well, I don't know. I think it was old Stan that started that crap, started making us feel dirty about ourselves and the things we feel in ourselves as children and stuff. And then they get the thing all warped out of perspective, and it becomes a dynamic that's, you know, there's some love achievable in it and some pretty spectacular moments sometimes. But there's a lot of grief built into that spectacular nature, isn't there, you know? And it seems like the more closer you get, the more disagreeable you become. It just, you know, there's something about it. In that togetherness, it's a little too much, and it pushes you back into yourself and back into that loneliness instead of doing what it should do. See, because it's not quite, we're being messed with pretty bad, but it's not quite what it should be. You see, and because we are messed with, don't you see? But see, here in the 3D, you know, this is the higher aspect of it. We just brought in some cousins that really were out of line and needed to get some realignment. And, you know, we're not forceful beings. We don't put people in prisons and make them burn in the fires of hell forever. We just let them suffer with whatever they create. Well, you know, it's like a mother love. You know, and sometimes it has to have the sturdiness of the Father within it, you know, to prop people up, prop souls and saints up as they go through the worst kind of experiences, you know, to still be there for them when they're done with all of that, you know. Well, guess who's waiting at the gate, man? Mary Jane and, of course, her man, right there inside of her golden heart, you see. This is how we live way beyond the 3D, to understand how we came into being naturally. And then we are back to that Spring Creek place. That place where the water first bubbles out of ground and becomes life again, man. Because it's living essence. The life is in the emotional waters. The purity of that water is reflective of the purity of the light of love and the purity of that love that creates that light of love that creates us all. It's about as sturdy and as straight as you can be. Naturally there, not just in humanity, but in all that lives and all that you can see. And when you see that, you become that very energy. You become the flow, don't you know? Then you start to see what it really is. It's more than a feeling, ain't it? A lot more, yeah. It's a major blessing to know and reacquaint yourself with your true eternal, dynamic presence now, isn't it? So I'll let you be with that moment for a little moment, don't you see? But don't be hard on yourself. Whatever you've believed has been real enough. You know, letting go of it can be kind of tough, except as life flows and you see it naturally and you just glows within that, then you see the purity of all, and you dispose of the need for believing in anything and everything. I mean, there just is what is, and you're creating it too, right along with the harmonic vibe of the rest of creation. A singular bass tone begins it all. The beat of a great big tom-tom somewhere, boom. And that begins the symphony of life. That's why some of the scientists have confused it with a big bang, snirk, snirk, with their tongue in their cheek. Of course, you know. What else would they think of it as? That's what scientists are all about. You get all brainy because you drive the girls zany, and they love you for it, man. Say, I mean, shit. There's a lot of science in that, isn't there, man? A lot of hoo-wee working out of nature unnaturally. But, babies, we're starting to figure it out. See, we're finally getting beyond all of this cultural nonsense, this crap that we have to put up with here in the 3D. No way, man. Not a speck of it today. You see, don't be pushed around. You don't have to be defiant either, you know. You don't got to be angry and rebellious at all. You just got to be more loving. More real in that love. You know what that means is live as you feel. That's going with the flow. Now, that's not excusing any experimentation with the darkness now. It's the lightness in all of it, you see. That's what lets you let go of the darker shit. And you won't be bugged by it anymore either. If you just go with this flow, man, it all flows together. And then it becomes a natural rock and roll rhythmic harmony by which all life dances itself into reality, you know. Big old donut of life ever expanding evermore is what I call it. But, of course, it becomes this sphere. It all joins together. You know, it just keeps expanding evermore. That's the reality of our truth. Given to you from this tiny little sound booth through a critter that's called Coyote in a grandfatherly sort of way. That's kind of weird now, isn't it, today? Well, it's a free day Friday, so we can be anything we gotta be. And Grandpa Coyote's living here with you quite naturally. On this ever-clear, hazy radio network, dear. Place you turn to when you want to rock your heart back into being, man. When you've had enough of the old bullshit, enough of the agony and the weight and the pain that goes with it. Well, then, baby, it's time to rock. It's time to roll. Time to get some peace in your heart and soul. Bring it all together now, just like the doobies do, man. Here in this rock and roll reality we call 3D, ooh, quite naturally, but oh, babies, are we starting to be a little more multidimensionally present about it? Oh, I'd say. You're catching on, babies, because we're flying high today. It's Free Day Friday, man. Spread those wings, smile upon all beings, and share the presence, the wealth of your love with them dumb mother truckers down there. Help them wake up, okay? Oh, Grandpa. Grandpa shaking your leg a bit today, ain't he? Here at Spring Creek, your moment of truth, baby. Ooh, the original water's flowing back into being once again, man. I think I met that guy the other day walking down a little gravel road here in Crestonia land, man. He wearing a cloak of gold, and he had fiery eyes and some real medicine in his heart and soul, don't you know? But like most of those hippies these days, he's kind of stuck up, man, and wouldn't even say hello. Oh, I'm kidding you, of course, man. You see somebody like that, well, you pay your dignified respects, namaste, man, and send them on their way, you know what I mean? That's the Crestonia sort of way, man, because we got a bunch of spiritual people living up here on this here mountainside. And baby, they know it too, okay? Oh, babies, we're all coming together. I'm not, discriminating against anybody. I'm embracing everybody and all the journeys and paths that lead to these moments in time. Now, I can make a little fun of us every now and then, because we sure are a bunch of screw-ups, ain't we, man? I'm telling you, it took us a long time to even get close to where we began, man, this Spring Creek, been waiting around so long it's become very, very ancient, waiting for you to come back to your moment of truth, your place of B-E-R-T-H, of being in this life, the births, B-E-R-T-H. No, you ain't, You're already a baby, man. You never grew up, and you know that, and I know that, and we all feel that, too, even though we've disguised it with quite colorful characterizations on the outside. On the inside, we're still just baby blue. Man, oh, I want my mama. I want my mama. No, not that one, that one. No, not that one, that one. No, not that one. Well, that's what happens when you're a baby child and get passed around. I know that from personal experience, man. When I was a child, I got passed from one to another because, my mother didn't have, she was on another journey at the time. So I got passed around, and I learned to enjoy all kinds of different flavors, man. I'm telling you, I was like, wow. I was introduced to this life in a very kind and compassionate sort of way, I'll tell you what. But probably led to some of the obsessions I've worn on me till, a little beyond this day. No way. Babies, I love it all. Life, I mean. Every bit of it. The tough stuff, the sweet stuff, the rough stuff, whatever, man. I just go with the flow, man, 'cause I know we're all coming home. I feel this in my heart day after day here on this radio show on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa, Coyote, and Okiwan Kenobi and a whole raft of, mystical kind of beings tuning in here, man, and bringing you the vibe of your own sweet tribe. Yeah, the vibrational harmony of the multidimensionally in the rock and roll that can't be disguised no more. See, this is why this music has become kind of timeless in a relative sense here. 'Cause there's a hidden message inside of a hidden message inside of a hidden message, which is multidimensional. There's levels of understanding and participating in this music. And a lot of it, if you're not too frequent into it, each time you hear it, it brings you to another level, another awakening of a feeling or an emotion or a moment. Something like that you didn't quite have a grip on, that was still eating at you in some way. And there was resolve right there. Night or day, man, you're rocking your little heart out and having a great time, driving everybody crazy by, being the wiggle worm of life, man. Ooh, you glow when you rock and roll, don't you know? When you just let yourself go. One thing I love about that little tiny burg down there in New Mexico, about 150 miles from us here, Taos, man. Those girls get down, man. I tell you, they just get in the vibe, no matter what it is. It could be jazz quartet or whatever, man. They get the boogie woogie in their heart and soul. They get out there on the dance floor, and they let you know what true love really is, baby. They glow, glow, glow. Sometimes it takes a little encouragement to get them on the roll, but most of the time they're there before you are, man. Once the vibe hits, the whole tribe hits too, man. I want it to be that way everywhere. I want people to be so loose that, the rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief, we all join together in these rock and roll, boogie woogie, divine harmonies of love and, festivals everywhere. I want to see more of them and more of them and more. And not $300 a ticket either. Guys, eat doo-doo with your stupid capitalism, man. If you break even, you're doing good. So keep it reasonable, okay? Just remember you're performing a service. You're not here to make a ton of money. That was then. This is now. Now you're here to share the wealth of your heart. Nakedly so. You understand my meaning? No, you don't have to strip down on stage, but nakedly so. Let that raw heart out. Be real. The way these guys back in the 60s and 70s were being. You see, and the 80s too, and some in the 90s, and some clear up to now, but mostly it's gone underground. It's in all those little background places like that little bar in Louisville I talked about. Not Louisville, Kentucky, not Louisville, Louisiana, but Louisville, Colorado, man. We got, our French Quarter here too, baby. Colorado ain't gonna be left behind on anything. We lead the pack now, man. The rest of you states around us better catch on, by the way. Just as in a little aside, to the miracle of Colorado, before we get top heavy and fall over, man, I'm telling you, the people are flocking here like birds to the grand swamps of life, man, and there's abundant everything there, And, man, I mean, it's insane down there in Denver, man. You can't rent an outhouse for less than $2,000 a month. Oh, you wanted lights and running water? Well, baby, that's another $3,000 a month. Well, it ain't quite that obscene, but you know what I mean. See, the point is we got to give up this idea that we got to have all of it right now, and we got to be greedy about it, you see. It's like, I can't get enough. I got to have more, and I'll charge them at blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Whatever. What's in it for me? How much can I get out of this shit, man? There's the source of all your corruption, man. That kind of attitude, because there's no gratitude in it. You see, it's feeling of isolation. It's an emotional loneliness that's so deep most people are numb to it, unconscious to it. That's kind of what your president emulates to you right now, is that unconscious presence, that stupidity that arises when all that matters is the money. I mean, you are totally taken over and corrupted by that God, because you just made it that way. You made it something you worship, something bigger than yourself, see. I got to tell you right here and now, there's nothing bigger than you in this world. Not money, not gold, not silver, not the ocean, not the sky, not the earth. Nothing, not the universe. Nothing bigger than you are. Yeah, chew on that for a minute, but there ain't. See, you're the most important person and soul in this reality because you're the experience of your own place. We all are. Yet, as you start to awaken here, as you start to soften up and glow a little bit, you realize in the life of rock and roll, we're all out on the same dance floor. And we're going with the same boogie-woogie beat. Even if we're doing it in our own silly way, got our eyes closed and aren't conscious of anybody else's presence, you're in everybody else's presence already, and everybody's there with you, rocking down, too. You see what I mean, Jelly Bean? Why do you think most white guys can't dance? Now, and I hate to be prejudicially sounding, but, as a general groupage here to separate us out a little bit, the boogie-woogie just ain't in the heart and soul of too many white men, don't you know? But, the reason being because they just don't feel comfortable in themselves. They never got real with life. A male presence in this white culture is taught to be, dumber than toast. Never get out of it. Don't even admit you have a heart, You got to be the strong one. You got to be the stooge for everybody else and pull the weight and all that shit. See, it's like, I mean, I don't blame the younger generations for rebelling against such conceptions. That's stupid. We work in harmony with everyone. And that starts with 2, 3, 4 people uniting in a singular purpose of one sort or another and expands from there in the practical reality of 3D. That's revolution right there. That's why they're so afraid of the little guy, those that seem to control things here. What they're really afraid of is themselves. If they ever have to stop for one moment in time, and they being an element of us, same as everybody else is, then it catches up to them, and they're going to feel eternally condemned or something. At least that's what they're trying to outrun, is some sensation like that. But the reality is nothing is chasing them. They're living with the end result of their own, personal behavior, which, yes, is manipulated and influenced by some pretty cold-hearted presences that seem to live beyond them, too, and seem to be able to occupy human beings and take the soul presence out and put another one in. Well, it doesn't quite work that way. But souls can be put pretty much to sleep while they go through their journey here. And this happens to a lot of them. I mean, it's a lot larger than you think in this reality, because, those that seek to control have tried to expand that control at every level of life. So that takes the breeding up of a lot of seriously controllable people. Etc. At least that's the 3D dynamic of it. The reality is, it's time now to be finished with this idea of separation, of polarization, of action-reaction, which seems to be the basis of the whole universe, which is the completest, most utter nonsense there could ever be. I call it bullshit, because it is. Even though to some it's provable in the 3D. But baby, you're just proving yourself to be a real hologram, that's all. You see? Thank goodness we can't be this bad for real. Thank goodness we really do live in a flow of love, which is called the river of life, which takes us all in the same singular direction, no matter what our activity is in that flow. We all have a function in it, and it's always moving in and moving out. It's going through all of its cycles and seasons, back to the ocean, back to the atmosphere, back to the mountains, back to the prairies, back to the land. Rivers form from streams, and wow, OG man, you see. But you don't quite get it when you're living it linearly, when you're living it in a straight line reality. But as you expand, you start to see that the flow is the rhythm of a spiral. And it's repetitious. Same way a calendar is repetitious of the dates on the calendar every year. Christmas comes on the 25th of July, 4 is Cinco de Mayo, etc., you see. And we tend to consider that the same day, yet every day you live is different than the one before. Every day, even if you go through the same dull routine every moment that you live, which you don't, but a lot of people settle into those places for a while. Nobody can stay there, by the way, anymore. That's why the world in the 3D is falling apart, man, because nobody can live in the lies. I mean, truth is becoming all too apparent. And most people are of such significant heart, they can no longer continue in the roles of cruelty and numbness. They because they feel now. See, it caught up to them already that what they thought was going to be a great condemnation was instead a great awakening. They made a tremendous sacrifice being these evil 2-bit pieces of doo-doo, and being reviled by the whole earth. Making yourself the shit stool of life, and everybody wants to sit on you and take a crap on you. I mean, it's been that bad. Maybe worse. Yeah, but we demonize a lot of things. We cast that energy all over the place, trying to deal with it outside of ourselves. And that just got us worse and worse in this square-ass 3D. But you look at the truth of our history. This warlike thing's only been a few thousand years now. Sick as that is. But we never really had such conceptions. We've gotten to those places before, but it was still in a much more enlightened way. But the stupidity sneaks in, and that's what rules the day in the end of things. That's what would happen here again. We'd all go down in flames, except that our heart, as a communal presence, has determined it to be different, that we feel we have given our service to this school we call life, and have found the love presence in everything, and therefore we have expanded already beyond the narrow-minded judgments we make on ourselves and the pronouncements we make on others here on the 3D. Don't believe me? Take a look at Facebook. Look at your feed. People yelling at each other all the time, calling each other a bunch of lying mother truckers, and etc. and so on. People that are of good comport on both sides. People that really mean to do well in his life. But see, the substance of fight, of isolation, has become the reality. I'm the one and you're not, man. Don't you dare talk to me like that, I'll sue you for libel, etc., etc., man. It's just like, wow. You know, how corrupt, how crazy, how insane the separation. When you take the commonality of your ideas and you align those with your presence and you put that energy into motion, and you got a spectacular miracle of another sort going on, a whole new level of creation happening. Because you give up the bullshit of looking down your nose at somebody. You know what I mean? Because then you're always looking down your nose at yourself. You're harder on yourself than you are on anybody else, and you never make progress. You get stuck in the mud. See, the day of isolation, shit, that's gone a long time ago. What the hell's the matter with these beings, these presences that don't seem to want to get well? Goodness gracious, look at the stubbornness in ourselves. No, it's me. I gotta have this personal. Oh, it can't be an expansive collective. Oh, no. Oh, we kid ourselves around a lot, don't we? We like to have something to worry about, so we ain't got much to worry about now, so then we start worrying about, well, what's going to happen in the ethereal presence? Am I going to transcend, or am I going to be left behind? I mean, there'll be 2 in the field, and 3 will be taken, and the earth will be shaken, and volcanoes will be gone, and blah, 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 blah. Jeez, oh man, just give it up and relax a little bit and recognize that the efforts of your brothers and sisters throughout the history we call time has taken care of things, man, and you've been a part of that too. Maybe you're a lazy asshole in this life, but in some other lifetime you gave great service. And guess what? By being the lazy yahoo in this life, you draw all that revulsion out of other people and take it on yourself, and that's your burden, which becomes your blessing because you just harvested a whole bunch of negativity and transformed it out of this reality, see? That's the truth of what we're living here and why we go through a lot of shit hell experiences. Break it down to its basic elements and you'll see the saintly side of yourself. There's an arrow there pointing at you from every direction, man. That doesn't make you bloated and fat in the ego. The ego kind of gives up its corruption and accepts the flow of the natural way, don't you know? It's part of you. It's part of all of us, And yeah, it's been dynamically played with and warped like hell and manipulated like a son of a gun, but it is not it. That's the unreality. See, there's not a separate part of ourselves called ego. There aren't 7 chakras. There's only one. Same with the life we're living. One life. In everything. And everyone. So we're joined and united in all of that. And how can we take a stance in loneliness of any sort then? How can we need or crave for another soul presence in your life? When what you have there is a connection with all life, pure and simple, and real as all get out. This is a life that is full of itself and doesn't need anything else. It's complete. It's satisfied. That's why I call it orgasmic. It's satisfaction such as we never knew before except outside of time. That's that where a moment still exists, where we still exist. This being a creation of our heart, a dynamic school by which we learn and grow, baby. So condemn none of it, bless all of it, and get on with the program here. You want peace? There's peace aplenty if you just recognize the simple presence I just shared with you. And I being a representative of a gazillion beings in this universe. Our hearts are united. And I get in this flow with you, don't you know? We add all of our presences to it. So I'm a unifying gateway presence, same as you are. Each human being is. And none is above another, none's more important than another, and none's more real than another either. We all rock. We're the star children of the universe. We've been given a heavy-duty task here, and not many presences could handle this kind of perception for long. And we've done it for, eons of generations now. To the point where we finally perfected our technique of seeing this love, pure and simple in everything, which takes us beyond, the judgment of the past and lets us live in the reality of the presence, which dissolves away all the roles we play in the past. That value of that experience is not given up, but it's lived in a more truthful way. So we can let go of any pain we've held in ourselves or this reality too. Because the Mother Earth feels what you do. And you feel what the Earth does. It's a shared experience throughout all of life. And you're starting to catch on, see? And that's the end of your idea of separation. And me, me, me. See, you're not the empty, hungry little vessel you thought yourself to be. That's programming. That's conditioning. That's genetic alteration. But you can't alter the energy of truth at all. It is what it is. And you can't hold people back from that presence. You can't kill them all off and think you're going to rule anything here. If everybody's gone, there's nothing to rule. You can't bring your dummies up from the underground and think they're going to be your little servant Robotrons. They'll take over and just knock you over. I mean, they're not stupid. Nobody is, but everybody went along with the program because they felt they didn't have a choice. Much to their regret. Everyone has their regrets. Wish I wouldn't have done it this way, could have done it that way. I mean, as they sit there and burden themselves with the blessing of a burden. You know, like I say, we're constantly critical. We're taught that. To be critical of behaviors that quite often we can't contain or control. You know, we can modify, so we don't become some kind of criminal, insane thing. We modify certain behaviors. So in a way, that is containment. But see, those are superficial things. The desire for vengeance, the desire to be, taking it out on some race or some other person, the mayor or the president or the congressman or whatever, you see. And this earth conveniently provides targets for all that negativity. So they can draw it out and then basically become the transformative energy too. That's their function. You see? You got to remember that. You guys got to, you start to see the life the whole differently when you start to see it in this way. It's called the flow. And it may, in that sense, it's got perfect harmony in it already. It's rock and roll. We've been down the rapids on the river of life and got the hell kicked out of us. But guess what? You can't hurt water. And water wears down all resistance. Eventually that canyon becomes a deep old gorge with a meandering river at the bottom of it. That's how significant the wearing of the stream of life is. There is no resistance to it. It flows where it wants to flow and bees what it wants to be, even if it has to wear you down little bit by little bit through the nature of linear time. You see? That's how it's done here in the 3D. That's part of the lesson of it, too. Move beyond the drudgery of that and see the blessing in it. You see a repetitious behavior, just being that flow and going steady through life, steady through life, steady through life, lifetime after lifetime. There's a presence of real love there. There's a dedication of heart such as you never realized, right there inside of your own soft, sweet little hive. And each one of us are waking up to the significance then of the roles we've been playing, as well as the reality that compelled all of it into being in the first place. For educational reasons, I might add. The heart's constantly renewing itself in its experience. It needs to know everything. It has that natural curiosity of the child that cannot be contained, can't be controlled, but it can be safely held in the heart of the children when we allow its innocence to flow in whatever way it will and be what it wants to create in any moment. See, it's had sufficient experience now to ripen itself into the place where it can embrace its innocence once again, the pure love, the crystalline clear love. That's what all this crystalline energy represents here, the clear love, the pure love. But what does the crystal do? It refracts light into rainbow colors, see? Symbolic of how purity creates creation. Everything's intertwined in this way because we're all in the same resonation. What rock and roll tells you. That's why I call it medicine for the heart and the soul. Medicine to get you in the flow. The rhythmic harmony of the tribe. The vibe of the tribe. The tribe. Humanity. Spread across the vast nature of this universe. Well, and beyond it where the real universe exists too. humans are really, really embraced by all the others that live here. All the planets, all the galaxies, all the universes, etc., dimensions too. It all is bringing its love constantly in to me and you as a presence in creation, as we expand our love in return in that same direction. So see, it's really just a flow, kind of like the circuit that life's been making in the 3D. The water rises from the ocean, becomes vapor, goes and becomes little drops that fall from the clouds onto the mountains and begin the stream of life once again, etc., etc. But see, the wearing down of time is what's brought us down. You take what's magnificent, you wear it down. It's a solid position, but the drops of water keep coming year after year, century after century, eon after eon. Pretty soon you got the Grand Canyon. Now you start to understand the energy of life, the nature of the generations, and why we're now at the point, we've worn it down sufficiently, that we're now at that point where the river meets the sea, and all life begins there. All presences come first from the ocean, then are birthed of the earth, joining with the ocean. The waves of the ocean, for the most part, are soft caresses on the beaches of time. And the wearing down there, see, that's what all that sand symbolizes. That's all them stones we brought down from the mountain, little by little. All that experience, and now we've created for ourselves a beautiful beach upon which we can commune with life and be that life, living in all dimensions, all directions that emote forward from that beach. And our personal experience in it, shared universally with all life, because we so deeply and profoundly appreciate what we are. The presence of union, life, love, man, in a rock and roll sort of way. That's what makes human beings colorful. We don't take shit from nobody, but we, are the product of everybody else's shit too, you see. Boiled down to the beautiful blossom of life. Now can you let this rhythm and harmony move you in that multidimensional way? Oh, I reckon so, 'cause it's that kind of day. Here at Spring Creek on the Hazy Radio Network, Free Day Friday emotion, baby. Gets deep, but powerful, eh? And real as all get out. It's the rock and the roll working together in the harmony of life, don't you know? Oh, medicine, baby. Through and through. Oh, my goodness, how we do love you. Oh, I'm sure God loves rock and roll same as you do. That wow-wee. Jizo is you, Jizo is me. Jizo, it's Oki-Wan Kenobi, our little whiny weenie dog too. Well, it's everything we see, touch, taste, feel, and do. Wow-wee. How about that, man? All circling around in this vibrational harmony we call rock and roll. Medicine for your heart and soul. Right here from the heart of Hazy Radio Network, don't you know? At Spring Creek, man. The headwaters of life, man. The truth in the flow. The flow in the go, to go in the flow. And ooh, you got all weekend, don't you know, to work on it too, baby. Keep sipping on this clear, cool drink of water we call life, man. Keep participating in that multi-dimensional sort of way. The presence that dissolves all divisions away, baby. See? There's one life moving in a singular motion, a singular presence in the divine harmony of rock and roll. Coyote medicine through and through, the sardonic motion of life flowing through you, baby. See? And now it all comes to what you say is undo, 'cause it's all undone. It's all become as living one. You know, the rock and the roll united, man. Parties on at our place, don't you know? Ooh, clear drink of water. Ooh. And you don't need alcohol in this water, man. Ooh, it gets you high. Just one little sip, man. And baby, you fly. You're so high. And guess what? You ain't never coming down 'cause you... Ooh, that's a good drink of water. Oh, my goodness. I just feel so doggone right, you know.